So the first question here was from Prawn. What should be a good UTX size for long-term holding? And I'm glad that he clarified that, because the thing about UTXOs is there is no perfect size of UTXOs. It's different for everybody, depending on how long your time frame is, depending on what you're going to be spending your Bitcoin on. What should be a good UTXO size? The one thing I would say is that anytime you're moving, if you have a chance, so let's say that you're somebody who buys Bitcoin on a regular basis from Bull Bitcoin, or let's use ShakePay here because they're a little bit different wallets. I'm going to go through both here, but let's say you use a normal exchange like ShakePay where you can actually buy the Bitcoin on the exchange and then you can hold it there for a little while. So if you're somebody who is buying, let's say $100 every week, every time you move that Bitcoin off of the exchange, off of ShakePay into your wallet, that's one UTXO. Okay. So what I would suggest there is just hold on to that for a little while. I mean, the first thing we're taught in Bitcoin is to never leave your money or your Bitcoin on the exchanges, but that doesn't factor in the UTXOs here. So what I would say for that, for long-term holding or for like any kind of holding, I would probably let that get to about 250,000, 300,000 ish sats before you move it off there. And if you are somebody who's been doing this for a while and you've been doing it wrong, it's okay. Like, you're still going to be able to fix it for not a huge penalty. So what I would suggest there, if you are somebody who has been doing that, dollar cost averaging, frequently buying Bitcoin, small amounts of Bitcoin, and moving it into a wallet, wait until the fees get low, probably around 10 sats per VByte or lower, and we'll get there. You just have to have some patience. We're at 19 sats per VByte right now, but wait till it gets low and then just move them all into one wallet, one new address. And when you do that, it's just going to create one new UTXO there, and then you don't have to worry about it. But I would say in terms of like optimal size, I'd go at least 250,000, 300,000 sats. That's what I would suggest. And if you're thinking something longer term, maybe 1 million sats, that's probably going to be good, because you do have to factor in here, the only time this is going to matter is when you go to spend that Bitcoin. So let's say that you waited 10, 15, longer term here, 20 years to spend that. That means that as long as your purchase is less than 1 million sats, you're only going to pay one fee for that, right? And that's essentially how it works, because it'll just take one fee out of that. And so if you had a bunch of different UTXOs in there and you wanted to spend 1 million sats, you'd have to pay fees for every single piece of data in that transaction, every UTXO. So it'd be incredibly expensive. And depending on how you're spending it, if you have to spend it right away, if it's urgent in terms of time, then you don't really have time to wait for a lower fee, and you have to pay, and you're going to pay a shitload of fees on that. So this definitely is something that you need to be thinking about at any stage of your Bitcoin journey here. But the one thing to keep in mind here is that if you have kind of screwed this up and you have a bunch of UTXOs, you can still fix it pretty easily. You just have to have some patience. And the one thing I would say is that if you are somebody who doesn't know how many UTXOs you have within your wallet, I would download the Sparrow wallet on desktop and go to sparrowwallet.com, I think. I better not. I better give you the right address here, because this is something that you can't really just screw up. Sparrow Wallet. So yeah, sparrowwallet.com/download. And from there, you get it for your desktop. You import your 12 words into the Sparrow Wallet, and you can see if the wallet was compatible with whatever BIP it was. You can actually see all your UTXOs in there. And I'm pretty sure, from what I've heard from people, is that it works really well. I haven't heard of too many wallets that you'd be migrating from that doesn't work there. So that's what I would say on that. You can always check your UTXOs using the Sparrow wallet. It is the most functional wallet out there. My path to far, this is a great question. Says, how many sats are safe to leave on a Lightning wallet? and a good transition to this next question too. But what I would say to that is, like with Lightning, you have to keep in mind that it's all hot. All Lightning is kept online. When you move it to a cold storage device, that's when they're actually taken off of the online, taken off the internet. So what I would say to that is, like, think of your Lightning wallet as, you know, if you're just out and about, think of that as if it's your wallet and you're going out for a night out, to the club, to a concert, like the concert I was at the other night with like 7 people at it. But that's how much sats you'd want to have in there, an amount that you'd be comfortable losing, right? Just because they are online, they're more risky to hold. But for the most part, if you do it properly, if you're using the right wallet, they're fine. But I would say, like, say you have $200 of cash in your wallet when you go out, that's the equivalent I would be using for Bitcoin, you know, in a hot wallet or Lightning wallet. So this next part here, the next question ties into that perfectly. And let me find this question. So this one's a little bit longer, but it's important for people. Okay, so here's the question. And this is from Eduardo. And so the question is, does the UTXO problem come up with the transfer from the exchange to the hot wallet, or the transfer from the hot wallet to the cold wallet? And don't get too overwhelmed here with all these different terms and stuff. But he says, I don't know if I'm doing it wrong, but I suppose, or I don't know if I'm wrong, but I suppose that if I get $100 in purchases every week and transfer each one individually into the cold wallet, that would be a problem. Yes. But if I, let's say, transfer the total at the end of the month directly into the cold wallet, that would be okay. Yes, that's exactly what I was saying there. Wait until you have, say, 250,000 sats, 300,000 sats, then move it off the exchange into your cold storage. But then he says, but what about transferring each $100 into a hot wallet and then transfer the whole amount from hot to cold wallet? Yes, also another option. So you have two kind of options there, what I would say. The first one is if you're using an exchange like ShakePay, where they don't have Lightning withdrawals, but you can hold the Bitcoin on there. Wait until that balance is high enough and then move it. Wait until you have 250,000 sats at least, and then move it to cold storage. But until then, leave it on your exchange. If you're using a service like Bull Bitcoin, which I recommend more than anybody else here in Canada, and if you don't have Bull Bitcoin, I have a referral link in the description. Use that. I think you get $25 for the free Bitcoin. But with Bull Bitcoin, you can actually you can withdraw to Bitcoin, you can withdraw to Lightning, or you can withdraw to Liquid. And so you're going to be doing the exact same thing there. You're going to let that build up to an amount, let's say 250,000 sats, 300,000 sats, and then you're going to migrate that into your cold wallet, which will create one UTXO. So that's what I would say there. And make sure you're using a Lightning wallet like Phoenix or like Mutiny, or like, I think non-kyc's another decent one, where you can actually hold your backup phrase to it. Wallet of Satoshi, you don't hold any keys to it. You're kind of at the mercy of them. But if you're using a good hot wallet, that's a really good way to do it. So basically the flow of that would look like a couple things there. A couple things I would say, because if you go into the ShakePay route, if you're going to be just letting your balance build up on there, you have a risk that you could lose those funds to ShakePay. That's your risk there. But the benefit is that when you do move that off of ShakePay, you're not paying any fees, and then you have your UTXO there. So you're not paying any transaction fees on that. But if you're using the Bull Bitcoin route, where you buy using Lightning and you let that balance build up until you consolidate, then you're going to be paying a fee to move from Lightning to on-chain. So there is a fee there, but you don't have the risk of somebody else holding it for you. So those are the two trade-offs there. I would lean towards using Bull Bitcoin for that, because at the same time, you might not end up migrating those down the road. You could use those Lightning purchases for something else without paying any fees on it. So that's what I would say. That's my UTXO summary for the day. I hope that helps. Like I said, it is a very important aspect of Bitcoin that I think is often overlooked. And so something to consider there.